Today we'll be doing a glute-focused routine. Let's get started. We're moving into jumping jacks. Standing centered on your mat, hop your legs out, bring your arms up, and then back in center, repeating for 30 seconds. Your option, if you can't jump, is to alternate stepping the leg out side to side. All right, and time's up. Back to center. We're moving into a toe reach to quad stretch. Standing on your mat, prop a heel out, hinging back flat, hips back. Then you're going to bring your leg back, grabbing the ankle or the foot, and slight pull to stretch out the quad. Repeating that movement, dynamic, on one side for 30 seconds. So you'll just pause for a second on each one. You want to continuously move through. So we're focusing on opening up in the hamstring from that hinge and the quad and the hip flexor on the second half. All right, time's up on that side. Go ahead and switch for 30 seconds. All right, and time's up. You can come back to center. We're moving into a lateral leg lift. So standing on your mat, hands wherever works for support, taking one foot and internally rotating the toes about 45 degrees. From here, hold that rotation inward, lifting the leg straight up to the side, squeezing the side of your glute, returning back down, foot hovers, repeating for 30 seconds. If at any point for balance you need to set the foot down, that's okay. So you're going to be feeling the side of your glute, and with that internal rotation, we're targeting a deeper and really small stabilizer glute muscle. Try to really focus on slow and controlled movements, squeezing, slight pause at the top. And watch those toes stay inward. All right, time's up on that side. Go ahead and switch for 30 seconds. You might also be feeling that supporting hip from it just did the work, and now it's holding you for that stability. That's okay if you feel that bottom hip as well. It's working to hold you upright. All right, time's up. Relax. We're moving into a pulsing lateral walk. Standing on one side of your mat, feet are shoulder width apart, feet are flat, hips drive back, squat down, slight stand up, still with a bit of a bend, step the leg out, repeat the squat, come back up slightly, and then follow with the other legs. We're just alternating stepping, so we're slowly moving to the other side of the mat for 45 seconds. When you reach the end of your mat, you're going to go back the other way, keeping your chest up nice and tall. So you should be feeling this into your quads, also the glutes driving those knees out. Focus on your foot placement, watching that your legs never come any closer than shoulder width apart. And then really watch those knees, that they stay pressed out. All right, and time's up. Back to center. We're moving into a single leg deadlift with a mini band. So taking that band and placing it around the widest part of your foot, standing up nice and tall, chest pressed, tension between your shoulder blades. From here, letting the other leg fall back as you hinge at the hips, bringing your chest to face the ground, loading the back of the leg, then driving down through the heel and forward through the hip. We're repeating this movement for 45 seconds. So keep that chest pressed, squeeze your shoulder blades, and really focus on hips back. It's not about how far down you go, focus more on pushing the hips back. And with that single leg, I really want you to focus on keeping your hips even. So that one that's falling back, make sure it's not opening out to the side. Think about your hips having headlights. You want them to face the same direction. All right, time's up on that side. Go ahead and switch. So around the widest part of the foot and repeating for 45 seconds. When you come up at the top, squeezing the glute of the leg you're working. All right, and time's up. Release your foot and come back to center. We're moving into a clamshell hip lift. Coming onto your side, you're gonna have your elbow right underneath your shoulder, in line with your hips, and then your feet are stacked. So think about your heels, hip, and elbow / shoulder all being in the same line. Knees are angled in. From here, you're gonna press your bottom hip up at the same time opening up that top knee, keeping your feet together. Bring the legs back together and lower the hips down. You're gonna repeat that movement for 45 seconds. So drive the hip up, squeeze the bottom glute, open the legs, pause, and then release. So we're focusing on feeling that bottom glute and hip as you press up, as well as the oblique, and then the top glute working as we open those legs. All right, time's up on that side. Go ahead and switch. So think about the elbow and shoulder, hips and heels in line, pressing up, pausing, and returning back down for 45 seconds. All right, and time's up. Relax back at center on your mat. We're moving into prone flutter kicks. Coming onto your belly on the mat, stacking your forearms, head is relaxed down. Feet are relaxed. You're gonna lift, keeping them both above the ground and alternating for 30 seconds. So we're really targeting into the glutes by holding those legs up and alternating one high and one low. All right, time's up. Relax your legs and come back to a seated position on your mat. We're moving into a wide stance hip bridge. Lying on your back, you're going to have your feet planted and then walk your legs right to the outside of your mat. When your feet are planted, ankling your toes out about 45 degrees. You want your feet close to being right underneath those knees so your legs are nice and bent. From here, drive the hips under or tuck the pelvis, push the hips up, squeeze the glutes, pause, and then release back down. Repeat this movement for 45 seconds. So keeping those knees pressed out so they're over top of your ankles. Focus on heels down as you drive the hips up. All right, time's up. Come back up to center on your mat. We're moving into supine abductions with a miniband. So grabbing that band, seated position on your mat, you're going to loop it around your legs and you want it placed just above the knee. So once we're into position, take a lay down. Upper body is relaxed, knees are 90, toes are flexed to the shin. You're going to start with some tension on the miniband, then open or press your legs out to the sides, increasing the tension, bringing it back to a light tension. Repeating that movement for 45 seconds. I want you to press your back down into the mat, engaging the core, and then we're just focusing on the outer part of the legs and the glutes by pressing out against the miniband. All right, time's up. Go ahead and sit up, take off your band, and relax back onto your mat. Great work. Next, we're moving into our cool down. We're stretching out the back with a dynamic seated twist, either sitting with your legs crossed or extending them slightly out, heels down, toes up with a bend in the knee. From here, opposite hand to outside of the knee, you're going to press against the leg and rotate your spine, sitting up nice and tall, holding for a second, and then alternating to the other side. So you're moving back and forth for 45 seconds. Keeping a nice tall back and chest as you do so, reaching and pressing against the leg to rotate. All right, time's up. Just sit comfortably on your mat. We're moving into a knee hug. So lying on your back on your mat, drawing your knees into your chest and then squeezing them, whether you're wrapping your arms or grabbing and holding and squeezing those knees into your chest. From here, stay in that position and gently rock side to side for 45 seconds. Just take it nice and slow and gentle. We're looking to release tension throughout the back. All right, time's up. Release your legs and come back to a comfortable seated position. That's all for today. Great work, and we'll see you tomorrow.